Pittsburgh Mayor Ed Gainey speaking just a short time ago with an update on the cleanup and the efforts to restore power to the city and beyond. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Erica Moke. The city, along with the county and utility companies, are all coming together to get life back to normal, but they are stressing it is going to take a while. KDKA has reporters fanned out all across the region, bringing you complete first alert weather coverage. Let's start with Barry Pintar. He was at this morning's briefing with city leaders and Duquesne Light. And Barry, everyone wants to know, when are we getting our power back on?
Yeah, that is certainly the big question, Erica. What we're saying right now is plan on at least 5 to 7 days for some people. Let me break it down in terms of what's happening here. First of all, I am live here in Allegheny County at the 911 center. Listen to some of these numbers. Between 5 and 6 o'clock last night, they had 5,000 911 calls. They're saying in 1 minute alone, up to 1,000 911 calls. So, of course, the devastation, just catastrophic across all of southwestern Pennsylvania, and so many questions in terms of the timing. How long will it take to get the power back on? How long will it take to clean up? So here's some good news for you. As you mentioned, we were at the city earlier. We're at the county right now, where I can tell you they are coordinating together to make it happen as quickly as possible. However, we do have to remember, as you said, this is an unprecedented event, according to so many. As a matter of fact, listen to the Vice President of Operations at Duquesne Light talk about how this weather event was unlike anything he's ever seen before.
As you can all imagine, we're still assessing the full damage from the storm last evening, but it is already clear that this is an unprecedented event in the history of Duquesne Light Company. And personally, for me, I've been in the utility business for 40 years. This is one of the top 3 events in my 40-year history, having worked in the utility business.
And Erica, we're hearing that time and time again from so many other agencies, unprecedented, unlike anything they've ever seen before. But I can tell you from being with these people all morning, they are working so hard to get things done. I want to tell you 2 things very quickly. Number one, they are taking safety as a priority over turning the power back on. Now, that might seem harsh, but they're saying that because if you see trucks coming and going, but your power's not back on, that's because some of those trucks are going there, making the area safe so other workers could turn the power back on. One other thing, I don't mean this as a shameless plug, but if you know anyone without their power on, remind them of the CBS News app, where they can watch us anytime, because those people, of course, are the ones who need the information the most. Reporting live in Moon Township, Barry Pintar, KDKA TV News.
Well, not long after seeing the conditions in Forest Hills, the mayor there declared a state of emergency. It is now in effect, and as Chillicothe Adele reports, the people who live in the borough are being told to be very careful as crews clean up.
This is what it looks like on Edgewood Road the day after those strong storms. Look at that. There's a tree uprooted from the ground, and as a matter of fact, this tree ended up falling on that house. It was a tranquil start to the morning for Jim Masick, but the visuals of what's directly across from him are anything but.
A tree branch had gone down through the roof and into her living room.
That branch was only a small part of a big problem.
Naturally, you worry about your neighbors.
And Masick wasn't the only nervous one here.
We went to knock on the door, saw this disaster.
Matt Hartman navigated through this mess to get the woman who lives there out. It wasn't necessarily easy.
Could not get her out the door initially because the porch had collapsed a little bit. We took the glass out of the storm panel and got her outside okay.
He says the woman avoided injuries. She also had a place to stay for the night.
And I'm sure she had a rough night sleeping, but I'm sure she's doing okay.
Out on Ardmore Boulevard, there were no colors to direct drivers. The storm knocked out the traffic signals.
It's bad around here.
Robert Carish also ended up with a fallen tree in his yard.
But it came down and took our electric lines, telephone lines, and our cable lines.
His only source of light is this lantern. He's got enough sources of nourishment inside, too.
We got enough food for, hopefully, a couple days.
People who live here say the strength of this storm was uncanny.
We've been here 5 years, never heard the wind so severe.
And I tried for over probably a half hour, and I couldn't get 911.
But now that it's all quieted down, the focus turns to getting all of this out of here.
There's a lot of work, a lot of cleanup, and we're just going to jump in together and try to get it cleaned up.
Just to give you a scope of how big this bottom of the tree is, I'm about 5'11" ¾ 6 foot. You can see this tree clearly matches my height and then eclipses it. The bottom of it does. And a lot of neighbors are going to be looking at scenes like this today and just wondering what's next. Primarily, when is the power going to come back on? From Forest Hills, I'm Chillicothe Dele, KDK TV News.
Turning to Squirrel Hill now. This morning, Lauren Linder spent time with people as they took in the damage in their neighborhood.
Shady Avenue in Squirrel Hill has seen better days, now blocked by this ginormous tree that fell during last night's storm.
Makes you humble now to feel the power of nature.
As Zehavit Kilshenboim and her 16-year-old daughter, Einav Israel, look at a ginormous spruce outside their home, they're amazed by what Mother Nature can do.
I was sitting in my room and the lights started flashing.
Less than 24 hours earlier, the flickering lights made Israel go to her window. She saw the branches swinging and then a bright flash and sparks.
The tree just fell to the other side and it hit the cables and they fell to the, like on the ground.
The force completely uprooted the trunk, lifting some of the sidewalk on Shady Avenue by Marlborough in Squirrel Hill. Immediately, the power went out and she ran downstairs to tell her parents.
It was really like this huge tree falling to the ground and you can see like all of it.
I thought immediately, I hope no one is under that tree.
They tried to call 911 but couldn't get through. Pittsburgh Public Safety reported some system outages, though eventually first responders showed up along with utility crews.
It was such a lovely day like today, and then in like 10 minutes everything became dark.
They say it was like something they see in the movies, but they're grateful knowing it could have been much worse.
We have such luck that it didn't fall our way or on the neighbors or hit anyone or any car or anything.
Now, as they wait for the lights to come back on, they're trying to stay positive.
We all went to sleep early yesterday thanks to the darkness, so good things can come out of that too.
Unfortunately, Duquesne Light says it could take days before power returns to some neighborhoods. For now, reporting from Squirrel Hill, Lauren Linder, KDK TV News.
Welcome back. The winds clocked at 70 to 80 miles per hour or worse in some areas spared very few trees. KDK's Megan Shin takes us to Penn Hills, where one woman says she is lucky to have escaped one in a very close call.
On Poe Drive here in Penn Hills, this is an example of the extreme weather that we experienced. This is a telephone pole snapped because of this tree that fell on it. And the car over here actually had the homeowner inside at the time that it collapsed.
The calming sounds of nature cut through the chaos from the storm damage in Penn Hills last night.
I never seen something like this. That's both our cars totaled. They're totaled.
Cynthia Ames means these two cars under this toppled over tree. She says it happened when she got inside her son's black Pontiac G5 to roll the car window up for him, but the storm rolled in quick.
And then I swear I could feel the car lift a little bit and then just boom. And I didn't know what happened. I thought a branch fell down.
Trapped under much more than a branch.
The car keeps bouncing. That tree kept bouncing on it. When I was in it, I could hear the tires pop and just all the windows crashed.
Panic set in.
911 wasn't answering. The neighbors were calling, everyone was calling, and no one was answering for hours.
Ames says her son's friends finally pulled her out of the car, but now without power in the neighborhood.
Pulled the wires out of my house because I was sitting in the living room and all of a sudden everything went dead.
It's a familiar scenario for thousands.
Being without light and all that, not being able to make any coffee or nothing,
Nothing but cleanup and recovery for the Penn Hills community, and especially Ames.
I just finally got some substantial employment, but I need my car to do it, and there it is.
Without transportation, but feeling lucky to be alive.
According to the National Weather Service, those severe winds were so strong, the damage they caused was something comparable to tornadoes. From Penn Hills, Megan Shen, KDKA TV News.
Jessica Riley has an update right now from power companies.
Yeah, now many people are just waiting in limbo for their power to be turned back on. And something to note that stores like this Busy Beaver in Castle Shannon are actually running out of generators, and they're becoming hard to find for people. Power companies are working around the clock to restore service after hundreds of thousands lost electricity. Duquesne Light Company is estimating 5 to 7 days until everyone is back online. They're hopeful many won't have to wait that long. And while First Energy is still assessing the damage, it hopes to provide estimated restoration time soon.
There's multiple areas, hundreds of areas of unique damage. You have to see all that damage before you can begin to understand what materials will be necessary.
But in the meantime, homeowners are hitting a wall when it comes to supplies.
It's been nonstop. Since we walked in here at 7:30 this morning, the phones have been ringing off the hook. People have been coming in left and right, and we've sold every generator in the store.
Customers say big box stores like Lowe's and Walmart are also sold out in the area.
Just trying to find a generator. This thing is crazy. Everybody's going to be out there looking for them, so might as well keep going and keep looking and try to get something started.
And speaking of generators, they can be hazardous if not used properly. Making sure there's enough ventilation and hooked up correctly will prevent injury.
You can get carbon monoxide poisoning, but what people may not understand is they could be putting backfeed, that's electricity, back through the transformer.
And while the cleanup continues, officials urge everyone to be cautious for wires that may be down and crews working.
Make sure that that's what they're doing. They're driving, they're paying attention, and they're aware that just around the corner there could be people.
And if you are in need of assistance, including safety, emergency aid, or utilities, we will have those phone numbers on our website, kdka.com. In Castle Shannon, Jessica Riley, KDKA TV News.
Yesterday's storm brought significant damage to so many of our communities, and KDKA was there. This is a look at just a few of the areas in Allegheny County that were hit hard. And you can see trees and power lines down on buildings, cars, and in the road. Of course, the storm damage isn't contained to Allegheny County alone. Much of western Pennsylvania got hit.
Yeah, Krista Rose was out surveying the damage in Westmoreland County.
Our region has a lot of large trees, and some trees like this one here in Greensburg did not fare very well when that storm came through with those powerful straight line winds. This was the storm as it moved through downtown Greensburg along West Otterman Street last night, carrying with it winds gusting around 90 miles per hour. It didn't last long, but it packed a big punch. Now, some 24 hours later, the sun is out and the county is cleaning up. In Mount Pleasant, winds tore apart this screen at the Evergreen Drive-In movie theater, where they were just getting ready to open for their 78th season this weekend. There were downed trees all over the county. There were trees into houses, like this one in Unity Township. There were trees on top of cars, like this one at the Grey Goose restaurant in Ligonier. And there were trees left uprooted and causing road closures, like this old pine tree along West Newton Street in Greensburg. Ironically, this tree was blown over just feet from an insurance office.
We were lucky it didn't head towards our building, but the bigger concern would be, obviously it's being held up right now by another tree. If that tree were to let go, it would fall into the road, and then there's a doctor's office and offices over across the road where the tree would affect that building.
Greensburg Fire Chief Thomas Bell and his crew have closed off West Newton Street until this tree can be safely cut down. He says it's been a long 24 hours for first responders and utility workers, and that they're working to fix things as fast as they can.
If you do have anything or any issues, just be patient. That's the biggest thing is, be patient with West Penn. We did have a lot of power lines down, cable lines with all these trees that came down. Just patience is the biggest thing.
Now, they are making headway across the county with cleanup, but if you do see roads like this one here in Greensburg that are still closed off, be sure to stay back. Reporting in Greensburg, Westmoreland County, Krista Rose, KDKA TV News.
Back to our severe weather coverage now. When the storm crossed your path last night, you actually helped us tell this weather story through pictures and videos. You allowed us to better explain the immediate impact, too.
And to show you the aftermath, which is going to take days to clean up. KDK's Erica Moke brings us those images to help better paint a picture of the frightening night for many people.
Tuesday's storm sent furniture flying outside the Wyndham downtown.
This guy hit my couch.
And grocery carts on a driverless crash course through parking lots in Monaca. In the north and to the south, from one community to the next, the blackout saw no boundaries, but countless streets suddenly did, thanks to branches and trees broken by nature's force.
I cannot believe that a storm did this much damage, honestly.
Some of the damage leaving a blemish on the pristine greens of Oakmont Country Club, and the work currently underway ahead of the U.S. Open coming up in June.
I've never seen it like this. We've been here over 20 years.
A roof now on the road in Carnegie, and someone's home crushed under the weight of a falling tree in Mount Lebo.
It was a dangerous storm, and we see the damage throughout the city.
And on our three rivers, just moments after the passengers deboarded, the might of the Mon turned a tiki boat on its side. The captain somehow able to safely make it to shore.